Good evening. And despite what you may see out your window, it is evening. Welcome home. My name is Daniel Brower. I use he, she, or they pronouns, and I am the transitional minister here at First Christian Church of Decatur. I think Facebook lied to me and just started the video a minute ago, but if you're here, you already know who I am. You already know what we're doing. This is 6:01 Wednesday, our midweek meditation. I hope that you are enjoying the weather outside, as I do believe it is the nicest weather we've had in quite some time. But watch out. Oh man. Today also marks the first full week of Lent. Last week we had our Shrove Tuesday pancake supper, followed the next day by our Ash Wednesday service, officially kicking off the season. And when it is the season of Lent, often you kind of have the same conversation with several different people. On both Shrove Tuesday and Ash Wednesday, both times the conversation turned around to what we might be giving up for Lent. Traditionally, during these 40 days, Christians will give something up for Lent. So the question is always, what are you doing for Lent? And one person said, I've never seen the point of giving anything up for Lent. Like, what does Jesus care whether I eat chocolate or meat or not? Which is a fair point. Another person said, well, I try to take things on for Lent rather than giving things up. Things like kindness or patience, which is another great way to observe. And all of them are kind of circling the same question, which is, what is the point of Lent anyway? Why do we give things up or take things on in these 40 days? Is it just another silly church tradition, that one of those things we do? Does Jesus have his phone out making a note of each one of us that doesn't, give up meat on Fridays or make some other huge sacrifice for this season? In other words, what's the deal with Lent? I don't actually know what that's a reference to, but I'm sure somebody does, and I hope you laughed. The deal with Lent, the point of the Lenten season, is to deepen our relationship with God. That's it. I mean, that's not entirely it. There's a whole bunch of other stuff rolled into that. And also, it's essentially what it is. The point of giving things up or taking things on is to add a new or different or deeper dimension to that relationship. At our Ash Wednesday service, Pastor Paul walked us through the three pillars of Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. All of these things, whatever we decide to do, the reason behind it is deepening our relationship with God. And so, with that in mind, what are we doing for Lent? I'll be honest with you, I'm doing less for Lent than I ever have because, frankly, everything is just a little bit much. Our Lenten theme this year is journeying with Jesus. And on the first Sunday of Lent, Reverend Anna Brewer Calvert preached about Jesus' road to the wilderness and about how perhaps our call this Lenten season is to follow him there, to step away from the world and to take a breath for ourselves so that we may be renewed to do the work that God has called us to do. This coming Sunday, the second Sunday of Lent, we'll be talking about Jesus' road home back to Nazareth and all of the expectations that awaited him there, and about how perhaps our call this Lenten season is to be more completely ourselves, without fear or shame or diminishing ourselves for other people, so that we may fully live into the life God has called us to live. This is a very hard time to be a person. Societal, personal, and political pressures surround us on every side. It can be hard to take time to breathe, much less take on one more thing to do during the Lenten season. I have to sacrifice another thing. I have to remember to do or not do another thing. What even is the point of it? Like I said, I'm doing less for Lent now than perhaps ever before. And that's because if I try to do too many things, it loses its meaning. If the practice we take up for Lent drives us further away from God in our burnout and resentment, it's not exactly serving the purpose of a Lenten practice, which is to draw us closer in relationship to God. Now, if you have a Lenten practice that is working for you, pursue it with gladness and sincerity. I don't want to tell you not to do that. And if you're like me, where you are a week in and you're struggling to find something to do for Lent that doesn't completely overwhelm you, I would like to invite you to stop. It's okay to not have a grand gesture every year. Maybe your Lenten practice is just breath, just stillness. It can be whatever you need it to be, whatever draws you into closer relationship with God. Lent can be just another boring, stodgy church thing that we have to do if we let it. Or it can be something truly life-changing. This year, I invite you to draw closer to God by taking care of yourself, by becoming more fully yourself. Now, more than ever, we need people who are bold and brave and unique and healthy. I say at the end of my broadcast every week that God made you special and loves you very much, and that is true. I believe that God made us the way that we are for a reason. Even though everything feels like a lot right now, who you are is still valuable and still loved. Finding a way to get in touch with that love, to breathe and to deeply know that the one who made you is there with you, might be the best Lenten practice that we can ask for in these times. I think I already spoiled my sermon for Sunday, but if you'd like to come hear it anyway, we will be gathering on Sunday morning at 10:25 for worship, just like always, in person and live streaming. And trust me, I know sometimes church also feels like just one more thing to do. And it is also worth it to get out into the world, to see the face of God in other people, and to know that we are all made and held by the same big love. So if you can, come on down. We would love to see you. And as always, you know it, whether you make it out this Sunday or not, this remains true. I said it once, I'll say it again, I'll say it every time. God made you special. God loves you very much. And so do I. Good day, everyone. I think the sun's going to set in an hour. Please enjoy the light. Happy daylight savings time.